Most men don't realize there's one simple habit that can slowly drain away their drive, their energy, and even their passion for life if it's ignored. And it's not something extreme. It's usually hiding in plain sight. Today, we're diving into why this habit matters so much for men's health and what you can do to protect yourself before it's too late. The truth is, so many guys struggle with low motivation, constant fatigue, or even feeling disconnected, and they often think it's just part of getting older. But in reality, lifestyle choices play a huge role. Your daily routines, how you sleep, move, eat, and manage stress, can either build your vitality or quietly chip away at it. That's why small changes like prioritizing regular exercise, eating nutrient-rich foods, staying hydrated, and giving your body enough rest aren't optional. They're the foundation of lasting health. And if you start paying attention to this one overlooked habit, you'll be surprised at how much stronger, clearer, and more energized you'll feel. When people think about improving their health, they often focus on diet, supplements, or workouts. But the truth is none of those can function properly without quality sleep. Sleep is the foundation that every other healthy habit is built on. You can eat the cleanest diet, hit the gym 5 times a week, or practice stress management techniques, but if you are consistently sleep deprived, your body will never fully recover, your hormones won't function as they should, and your energy will constantly feel drained. Many men brush off sleep, telling themselves they can get by on 4 or 5 hours a night, or that they'll catch up on the weekend. But science shows that lack of sleep doesn't work that way. Once you lose it, the body never fully replaces it. The damage slowly builds over time, affecting not only how you feel today, but also how your brain and body will function years down the line. The problem is that modern life constantly pushes men into a cycle of late nights, early mornings, and overstimulation. Work deadlines, digital screens, late-night snacking, scrolling through social media, or binge-watching shows keep the brain alert when it should be winding down. Add to that caffeine late in the day, stress from jobs or relationships, and a culture that praises being always on and hustling, and you've got the perfect storm for disrupted sleep. Many men are conditioned to see sleeping longer as laziness or weakness, when in fact it is one of the strongest tools for longevity and performance. Your testosterone, for example, is directly tied to your sleep. Research shows that men who consistently get less than 7 hours of quality rest experience significant drops in testosterone, which is the very hormone that drives motivation, energy, and muscle growth. Low testosterone also contributes to poor mood, irritability, and a lack of drive, so ignoring sleep quickly becomes a cycle where energy disappears and the spark for life fades. When sleep is cut short, the brain doesn't get the chance to go through its full cycles of repair. Deep sleep is where the body repairs tissues, builds muscle, and strengthens the immune system. REM sleep, on the other hand, is where the brain processes emotions, consolidates memories, and refreshes mental clarity. Without enough of these cycles, you wake up feeling foggy, distracted, and easily stressed. Over weeks and months, this fog turns into chronic fatigue and low motivation, and many men mistakenly think they need more caffeine, more supplements, or even medications, when in reality the first step is simply improving sleep quality. Poor sleep doesn't just affect energy the next day, it literally changes how the body stores fat and processes food. Studies show that just a few nights of reduced sleep increase cravings for sugar and processed carbs, making it much harder to maintain a healthy weight. Men who cut their sleep short also show higher cortisol levels, which is the stress hormone that stores belly fat and weakens the immune system. So if you're working hard in the gym but not sleeping enough, you're working against your own biology. It's important to understand that quantity and quality are not the same. Some people may lie in bed for 8 hours but still wake up tired because the quality of their sleep is broken. Things like alcohol, late-night eating, or sleeping with too much noise and light in the room fragment sleep cycles, preventing the body from reaching deep restorative stages. Alcohol, for example, might make you fall asleep faster, but it disrupts REM cycles, meaning the brain never fully restores itself. Similarly, using screens before bed exposes the eyes to blue light, which signals to the brain that it's still daytime. This suppresses melatonin, the hormone that tells your body it's time to sleep. The result is you may eventually fall asleep, but your rest is shallow and unrefreshing. Another overlooked part of sleep is consistency. Going to bed at 10 p.m. one night and then at 1 a.m. the next confuses the body's circadian rhythm, which is like an internal clock. This rhythm controls not just sleep, but digestion, hormone release, and even body temperature. Disrupting it over time has been linked to increased risk of heart disease, diabetes, and even neurodegenerative conditions. That's why shift workers who constantly change sleep schedules often have higher health risks. For men who want long-term vitality, protecting a regular bedtime and wake time is one of the most powerful habits you can build. Hormonal balance is deeply tied to sleep. Men who are sleep-deprived often see sharp decreases in growth hormone, which is necessary for muscle repair and recovery. They also produce more ghrelin, the hormone that increases hunger, while suppressing leptin, the hormone that signals fullness. This means that not sleeping enough not only makes you tired, but also makes you hungrier and more likely to overeat. This is why many men who struggle with weight gain or stubborn fat don't realize the problem isn't only their diet, but also their disrupted sleep. In fact, one of the simplest weight management strategies isn't changing what you eat, but changing when and how long you sleep. Mood is another area that's profoundly affected by sleep. Poor sleep has been shown to amplify negative emotions, making men more irritable, reactive, and prone to stress. It reduces the brain's ability to regulate the amygdala, the emotional center, so even small challenges feel overwhelming. Over time, this contributes to anxiety, depression, and burnout. On the flip side, good sleep enhances resilience. When you wake up well rested, stresses feel manageable, your focus is sharper, and your decision-making is clearer. This is one of the reasons athletes, CEOs, and high performers often guard their sleep routines so carefully. It's the invisible fuel that makes everything else work better. For men thinking long-term, ignoring sleep is also a risk factor for serious health problems. Chronic sleep deprivation is linked with higher chances of cardiovascular disease, stroke, and diabetes. The immune system weakens, making the body more vulnerable to infections and slower to recover from injuries. There is also growing evidence that poor sleep increases the risk of cognitive decline as men age. During deep sleep, the brain actually flushes out waste products that build up during the day. Without this nightly cleaning process, proteins that are linked to dementia and Alzheimer's can accumulate over time. So prioritizing sleep is not just about feeling good today, it is literally about protecting your brain for the future. There are small, practical changes men can make to drastically improve their sleep quality. Creating a consistent bedtime routine is one. Just as children need rituals to signal bedtime, adults benefit from cues that tell the body it's time to rest. This might mean dimming the lights, shutting down screens, or reading a book. Keeping the bedroom cool, quiet, and dark is another powerful tool. Studies suggest the optimal room temperature for sleep is around 65 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit, as the body naturally cools down to prepare for rest. Investing in blackout curtains or a sleep mask can make a big difference if light pollution is an issue. Limiting caffeine intake after the early afternoon is another key habit. Caffeine has a half-life of about 6 hours, which means that afternoon coffee can still be in your system late at night, keeping you alert when you're trying to fall asleep. Physical activity also plays a role in improving sleep. Regular exercise helps regulate circadian rhythm and reduces stress hormones, making it easier to fall into deep sleep. However, timing matters. Intense workouts right before bed can actually stimulate the body and delay sleep, so it's best to schedule them earlier in the day or at least a few hours before bedtime. Similarly, nutrition influences sleep. Heavy meals late at night can disrupt digestion and cause fragmented sleep, while certain foods rich in magnesium or tryptophan like nuts or turkey may naturally promote better rest. Hydration balance also matters. Drinking too much water right before bed can lead to waking up multiple times to use the bathroom, which breaks sleep cycles. Stress management is another hidden factor. Many men carry the stress of work, finances, or family responsibilities into the bedroom, making it difficult to switch off. Techniques like journaling, meditation, or even simple deep breathing exercises before bed can signal the nervous system to calm down. Exposure to natural light during the day is another underrated tool. Getting sunlight in the morning helps regulate melatonin production later at night, anchoring the body's sleep-wake cycle. This is especially important in modern life, where many men spend long hours indoors under artificial light. Technology is both a blessing and a curse when it comes to sleep. While fitness trackers and smartwatches can help measure patterns, constant notifications and late-night scrolling are some of the biggest sleep disruptors. Creating a digital sunset, where you put away devices an hour before bed, is one of the simplest and most effective strategies. If using devices is unavoidable, blue light, blocking glasses or night mode settings can help reduce the impact on melatonin. Some men also benefit from white noise machines or calming sounds to block out environmental disturbances. The ripple effects of improving sleep extend to every part of life. Men who prioritize rest often find their workouts more effective, their focus at work sharper, and their patience in relationships stronger. Energy levels become more consistent, meaning they're less dependent on stimulants throughout the day. Creativity improves because the brain is actually given the time it needs to process and connect ideas during sleep. Over time, these benefits compound, creating not just better days, but a healthier and more vibrant future. When it comes to men's health, few things are as powerful and yet as overlooked as consistent physical activity. Most men think of exercise only in terms of building muscle, losing weight, or looking good, but the truth runs much deeper. Movement is the language your body uses to communicate with itself. Every system, your hormones, your heart, your brain, your mood, is influenced by how often and how effectively you move. Ignoring regular activity doesn't just make you less fit, it throws off your internal balance in ways that affect your drive, your energy, and even your long-term health. The human body was never designed to sit all day. Our ancestors spent their lives walking, lifting, running, and adapting to physical challenges. Today's world, with desk jobs, cars, and endless hours on screens, has stripped away most of that natural movement. For many men, a normal day means sitting for 8 to 10 hours at work, then sitting in traffic, then sitting on the couch at night. This isn't just about burning fewer calories. Prolonged inactivity literally shuts down hormone production. Testosterone, growth hormone, and even insulin are all directly influenced by activity levels. That's why men who stay active into middle age often feel more youthful and resilient than those who allow inactivity to take over. One of the most powerful effects of physical activity is its role in regulating testosterone. Testosterone isn't only about muscle or sex drive, it is a hormone that fuels motivation, confidence, focus, and energy. Studies consistently show that men who exercise regularly have higher baseline testosterone levels than men who are sedentary. Resistance training in particular sends a strong signal to the body to produce more testosterone because the body interprets lifting as a need to stay strong and capable. On the other hand, long periods of inactivity tell the body the opposite. It doesn't need to maintain high testosterone, so levels naturally decline. Growth hormone is another key player. This hormone helps repair tissues, maintain muscle, and keep metabolism running efficiently. High-intensity activity and strength training stimulate growth hormone release, which is crucial for recovery and long-term vitality. Without regular exercise, growth hormone production slows, recovery becomes harder, and aging feels like it accelerates. Men often mistake this decline for just getting old, but in reality, it's often the absence of consistent movement that drives it. Beyond hormones, regular activity has an enormous impact on cardiovascular health. Every time you raise your heart rate through exercise, you're training the heart to become more efficient. Blood vessels stay flexible, circulation improves, and blood pressure is better regulated. Inactive men often experience stiffness in blood vessels and higher risks of hypertension, both of which increase the chance of heart disease. Simple routines like walking briskly for 30 minutes a day, cycling, or jogging can dramatically reduce those risks. Movement also helps the body use oxygen more effectively, which explains why active men often feel more alert and energized throughout the day, while sedentary men complain of fatigue even after plenty of rest. Metabolism is also shaped by physical activity. Muscle tissue is metabolically active, meaning it burns calories even at rest. The more lean muscle you have, the more efficiently your body uses energy. Resistance training builds and preserves that muscle, while inactivity leads to gradual muscle loss, a process known as sarcopenia. Sarcopenia doesn't just make men weaker, it slows metabolism, increases fat storage, and worsens insulin resistance. That's why active men find it easier to maintain a healthy weight compared to those who do little physical activity. Exercise, particularly strength training, is one of the strongest natural defenses against type 2 diabetes because it improves the body's ability to use insulin and regulate blood sugar. Mental health is another area where activity shines. Exercise increases the release of endorphins, often called feel-good chemicals, which help reduce stress and improve mood. It also stimulates the production of brain-derived neurotrophic factor, a protein that supports brain health, learning, and memory. This means men who stay active not only feel physically stronger, but also mentally sharper and more emotionally stable. Many men underestimate how much exercise can buffer against anxiety, depression, and even burnout. Movement acts like a reset button for the nervous system, lowering stress hormones and promoting a sense of control and clarity. Consistency is the real key. Doing one workout here, and there doesn't move the needle. The body thrives on regular signals. Just as eating one salad doesn't make you healthy, doing one workout doesn't balance your hormones. What matters is repeated patterns. A consistent routine tells the body, this is who I am, this is what I need to function, and the body responds by adapting in powerful ways. Over time, regular training increases mitochondrial density, which is how cells produce energy. More mitochondria mean more stamina, less fatigue, and greater endurance in everyday life. Men who exercise regularly often describe feeling younger than their age because their bodies literally operate at a higher energy level. There are different types of activity, and each one plays a unique role. Resistance training, whether with weights, bands, or even body weight, builds muscle, strengthens bones, and directly boosts testosterone. Cardiovascular activity, like running, cycling, or swimming, strengthens the heart and lungs while improving circulation. Flexibility and mobility exercises, like yoga or stretching, protect joints, reduce injury risk, and maintain overall movement quality. Together, these create a balanced approach that supports every aspect of health. Unfortunately, many men focus only on one area, lifting weights but ignoring cardio, or running long distances but neglecting strength training. The body functions best when it's challenged in multiple ways, just as our ancestors had to be strong, agile, and enduring to survive. An often overlooked factor is how activity influences sleep. Men who exercise consistently tend to fall asleep faster, enjoy deeper sleep, and wake up more refreshed. This creates a reinforcing cycle. Good sleep supports hormone production and muscle repair, while activity during the day ensures quality sleep at night. In contrast, sedentary men often struggle with insomnia or restless nights, which further weakens energy and motivation. Physical activity also impacts longevity in profound ways. Research shows that active men not only live longer, but also enjoy more years of life free from chronic disease. They have lower risks of cardiovascular disease, diabetes, and even certain cancers. But beyond living longer, activity ensures those extra years are lived with strength, mobility, and independence. No one wants to merely add years, the goal is to add life to those years. Regular exercise is one of the few habits scientifically proven to achieve this. Practicality matters too. Some men believe they need to spend hours in the gym every day, but the science doesn't support that. Even short, consistent bouts of movement throughout the week make a difference. Walking meetings, taking stairs, stretching during breaks, or doing push-ups at home all contribute. The key is to avoid long stretches of complete inactivity. The body interprets even small movements as signals to maintain strength and vitality. High-intensity interval training is another efficient method, combining short bursts of intense effort with recovery periods, which has been shown to improve cardiovascular health, insulin sensitivity, and fat metabolism in less time than traditional workouts. Bone health is another critical point. Many men don't think about osteoporosis, assuming it's only a women's issue, but men can also suffer from weakened bones as they age. Weight-bearing exercise like lifting, running, or jumping stimulates bone density, making fractures far less likely later in life. Without this stimulus, bones weaken silently over the years, leaving men vulnerable to breaks and reduced mobility. The social side of activity also shouldn't be ignored. Men who engage in group sports, fitness classes, or training with friends benefit from camaraderie and accountability. These social connections reinforce consistency and provide mental health benefits of their own. On the other hand, isolation and inactivity often go hand in hand, creating cycles of loneliness and declining health. Being part of a physically active community naturally boosts motivation and creates a sense of shared progress. Another overlooked element is posture and mobility. Hours of sitting create tight hips, weak glutes, and rounded shoulders, all of which contribute to back pain and stiffness. Regular physical activity counteracts these effects by strengthening core muscles, stretching tight areas, and improving alignment. This makes daily life more comfortable and prevents injuries. A man who keeps himself physically active not only looks healthier, but also moves with confidence, which affects how he's perceived by others and how he feels about himself. What's also fascinating is how activity affects the brain's reward system. Men who exercise regularly develop greater sensitivity to dopamine, the neurotransmitter responsible for motivation and drive. This means that the same men who move consistently often feel more motivated in other areas of life. Career, relationships, personal goals, because their brain is primed to seek progress and reward. Inactivity, on the other hand, dulls this system, making it harder to feel motivated about anything. That's why a man who skips exercise for weeks often feels stuck in a rut, not just physically but in his mindset as well. Activity doesn't have to mean traditional gym sessions. Hiking, playing sports, martial arts, swimming, cycling, even dancing all provide the same essential benefits. The important thing is consistency and effort. The body doesn't care if you lift barbells or carry heavy groceries. If you run on a treadmill or chase your kids around a park, it responds to movement. In fact, variety often keeps things engaging and sustainable. The danger is in doing nothing, because the absence of physical challenge sends a powerful message to the body that strength and vitality are no longer necessary. What you put into your body shapes not just how you look, but how you think, feel, and perform. Most men know that food fuels the body, but what many underestimate is how deeply nutrition and hydration affect the brain, mood, focus, and overall drive. When your diet is filled with the right nutrients and you're consistently hydrated, your energy feels steady, your motivation stays strong, and your mental clarity is sharp. On the other hand, when your meals are unbalanced, overly processed, or lacking hydration, you don't just feel sluggish physically. You also feel foggy, unmotivated, and disconnected from your natural drive. The brain is an energy-hungry organ. Even though it makes up only a small percentage of your total body weight, it consumes around 20% of your daily calories. That means the quality of what you eat directly influences how well your brain performs. If you give it nutrient-rich fuel, it thrives. If you give it sugar spikes, processed junk, or constant stimulants, it struggles. This is why men who start their day with balanced, protein-rich breakfasts often feel more focused than men who skip meals or grab a quick pastry and coffee. The brain needs steady glucose levels to function, but not in the form of sharp spikes and crashes. Instead, it performs best when blood sugar is stable, which comes from slow, digesting carbohydrates, quality proteins, and healthy fats. Hydration is equally critical, though often overlooked. Even mild dehydration, just losing 1 or 2% of your body's water, can cause headaches, difficulty concentrating, irritability, and fatigue. Many men don't realize that the afternoon slump they blame on lack of sleep or too much work is often simply dehydration. Water is essential for circulation, nutrient transport, and even the electrical signals that neurons use to communicate. Without proper hydration, the body literally struggles to send clear messages between the brain and the rest of the system, and it doesn't take extreme thirst for performance to dip. Research shows that even slight dehydration reduces reaction times, decision-making speed, and memory. For men in demanding jobs or high-pressure environments, staying hydrated is one of the simplest ways to maintain an edge. Food quality is another piece of the puzzle. Highly processed foods are designed for taste and shelf life, not for supporting brain chemistry. These foods are often stripped of vitamins, minerals, and fiber, then filled with refined sugars, unhealthy oils, and artificial additives. Over time, diets high in processed foods increase inflammation in the body. Inflammation doesn't just cause aches or pains, it also affects the brain, contributing to mental fatigue, low mood, and reduced motivation. On the flip side, whole foods, fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, lean proteins, whole grains are naturally rich in antioxidants and nutrients that calm inflammation and protect brain health. Omega-3 fatty acids from sources like salmon, sardines, walnuts, or flax seeds are particularly powerful because they help build and protect the membranes of brain cells. Men who eat diets rich in omega-3s often report better focus, sharper memory, and more stable moods compared to those who rarely consume them. Protein intake plays a huge role in driving clarity as well. Proteins are made of amino acids, and those amino acids are the raw materials the brain uses to create neurotransmitters. For example, the amino acid tryptophan helps build serotonin, which regulates mood and emotional stability. Tyrosine helps create dopamine, the neurotransmitter responsible for motivation, focus, and reward. If your diet is low in protein or heavily reliant on low-quality sources, your brain literally lacks the building blocks it needs to keep you motivated and clear-headed. That's why men who prioritize lean proteins like chicken, fish, eggs, or plant-based proteins often notice a more consistent drive throughout the day. Micronutrients also can't be ignored. Magnesium, zinc, vitamin D, and B vitamins all play critical roles in energy metabolism and hormone function. Zinc, for example, is vital for testosterone production. Low zinc intake is linked to reduced testosterone and weaker immune function. Magnesium helps regulate sleep and stress response, while vitamin D is not only important for bone health but also for mood and hormone balance. Many men who feel chronically tired or unmotivated are actually dealing with silent deficiencies, eating a wide variety of nutrient-rich foods and, when needed, supplementing under professional guidance can make a huge difference in restoring clarity and vitality. Hydration isn't only about water. Electrolytes, sodium, potassium, calcium, and magnesium are necessary to keep fluid balance in the body. Without them, drinking large amounts of plain water sometimes isn't enough, especially for men who sweat heavily during workouts or work in hot environments. An imbalance in electrolytes can lead to cramps, fatigue, and even mental fog. This is why rehydrating after exercise with fluids that restore electrolytes is so important. Simple habits like adding a pinch of sea salt to water, eating potassium-rich foods like bananas or sweet potatoes, and including leafy greens for magnesium can make hydration far more effective. Caffeine deserves a mention here as well. Many men rely heavily on coffee or energy drinks for focus and motivation. While caffeine can temporarily sharpen alertness, relying on it too heavily creates dependency and energy crashes. Excessive caffeine also dehydrates the body, interferes with sleep, and overstimulates the nervous system, leaving men anxious or restless. A healthier relationship with caffeine means using it strategically, earlier in the day, in moderate amounts, and never as a substitute for sleep or balanced nutrition. Pairing caffeine with hydration and whole foods keeps it effective rather than harmful. The gut-brain connection is another fascinating area. Scientists now understand that gut health plays a huge role in mood and mental clarity because of the microbiome, the trillions of bacteria living in your digestive system. A poor diet filled with processed foods damages this delicate balance, leading to digestive issues, systemic inflammation, and even changes in mood regulation. On the other hand, diets rich in fiber, fermented foods like yogurt or kimchi, and prebiotics like garlic or onions create a healthier gut environment. A healthy gut produces more neurotransmitters, reduces inflammation, and improves overall energy. Men who focus on gut-friendly nutrition often report feeling less bloated, more energized, and mentally clearer. Blood sugar control is one of the most practical ways nutrition affects daily drive. When men eat large amounts of refined carbs and sugars, blood sugar spikes sharply, leading to a quick burst of energy followed by a crash. That crash is what creates brain fog, irritability, and the urge for another quick snack or caffeine boost. Over time, these constant spikes and crashes increase insulin resistance, which drains energy and motivation even further. Balancing meals with protein, healthy fats, and fiber slows digestion and keeps blood sugar stable, leading to steadier focus and drive. Something as simple as adding a handful of nuts or seeds to a carb-heavy snack can transform how you feel hours later. Hydration also supports joint health, muscle function, and recovery. Muscles are about 75% water, and even slight dehydration makes them weaker and more prone to cramping. For men who train hard, dehydration not only reduces performance but also slows recovery, leading to soreness and lower motivation to stay consistent. Drinking enough fluids before, during, and after exercise is essential, but so is spreading water intake throughout the day. Chugging a lot at once doesn't work as effectively as steady hydration. Signs like dark urine, dry mouth, or constant thirst are already late indicators. By the time you feel them, performance has already dipped. Making hydration a habit, rather than an afterthought, ensures the body stays ready for whatever the day demands. Nutrition also influences inflammation in ways that directly affect clarity and vitality. Diets high in refined oils, fried foods, and excess sugar promote chronic low-grade inflammation, which doesn't always show up as obvious pain but manifests as fatigue, brain fog, and lack of drive. Anti-inflammatory foods like berries, olive oil, green leafy vegetables, and fatty fish actively reduce this load, allowing the body and brain to function more smoothly. For men aiming to maximize mental clarity, focusing on anti-inflammatory foods is one of the smartest moves they can make. Even hydration timing plays a role. Starting the day with water after waking up rehydrates the body after hours of sleep and jumpstarts metabolism. Drinking water before meals aids digestion and prevents overeating, while sipping water throughout the day maintains steady performance. On the flip side, excessive hydration right before bed can disrupt sleep with bathroom trips, so balance is important. Men who master hydration timing often notice improved energy flow without the rollercoaster highs and lows. There's also the matter of alcohol. Many men use it to unwind, but alcohol is a known disruptor of both hydration and brain clarity. It depletes water and electrolytes, interferes with REM sleep, and leaves the brain less sharp even into the following day. Consistent alcohol use, even in moderate amounts, dulls motivation and mental performance over time. Cutting back or reserving alcohol for special occasions is a powerful step in restoring drive and vitality. Meal timing also plays a big role in energy. Eating extremely late at night often disrupts digestion and sleep quality, while going long stretches without balanced meals can create dips in blood sugar that reduce focus. For most men, eating balanced meals every 4 to 5 hours keeps energy stable. Intermittent fasting is another approach that works for some men, but it needs to be done carefully with nutrient-dense foods during eating windows. The goal is always stability, clarity, and consistent drive, rather than cycles of binging and crashing. The ripple effect of good nutrition and hydration reaches every part of life. Men who eat nutrient-rich diets and stay hydrated not only perform better physically, but also feel sharper mentally and more emotionally balanced. They have more patience, make better decisions, and feel more resilient under stress. The combination of steady energy, clear focus, and strong motivation creates a sense of confidence that carries into work, relationships, and personal goals. On the other hand, poor nutrition and chronic dehydration gradually chip away at this foundation, leaving men tired, reactive, and unmotivated, often without realizing food and water are the hidden causes.